Now, if you're a veteran player of Destiny, you may have wondered at some point, what would it be like to mix up the subclasses? That question probably only became more prevalent though when darkness subclasses became a part of the mix. We got Stasis and Beyond Light and Strand and Lightfall. Well, it seems only appropriate that in the final chapter of the Light and Dark saga, that question finally has an answer. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Los Angel of Havoc here, aka Leitato, the one and only High Priest of the Congregation. Welcome back to Leitato Clips, where we've got a little bit of everything. And in today's video, we will be going over the brand new subclass Prismatic, which is coming in Destiny 2's upcoming expansion, The Final Shape. The Final Shape will arrive in just a few short weeks on June 4th. Now, back on April 9th, we got our first glimpses of Prismatic gameplay in Bungie's special developer preview, and wow. Anyway, the following day, Bungie released a full article breaking down Prismatic in depth, so strap in, grab your popcorn, and let's dive right into it. One quick ask before we get started: if you wouldn't mind, please be sure to give the video a thumbs up. It's a little bit, but it helps a lot with helping the channel grow. And if you want to stay up to date with me and what we're doing here on the channel, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next video. Now, what is Prismatic? Prismatic will allow players to wield the power of light and darkness simultaneously, and as such, it will feature a selection of abilities from all 5 damage types for super, melee, grenade, and aspects. We'll also be able to choose from all available movement modes and class abilities, including subclass-specific ones like Phoenix Dive and Acrobat's Dodge and Thruster. The main goal of Prismatic is to enable new and interesting build crafting combinations and provide a fresh gameplay experience. There's an important note: it's not 100% full subclass customization. The abilities are set, and some have been chosen due to being previously underused since release. However, the mixing and matching of the available options will still have some exciting interactions with the rest of the ability suite, and adjustments have been made to certain aspects in order to enable these unique interactions. Players will have access to a complete starting Prismatic build from the very first mission of the Final Shape, including light and darkness abilities, aspects, and a full set of fragments. While additional super, grenade, and melee abilities can be unlocked as you progress, all class abilities and movement modes are going to be available at the start as well. Now, next, we'll be talking in depth about how Prismatic will work for each class. For Hunters, Prismatic emphasizes evasiveness and maneuverability, such as utilizing Ascension to grapple around the battlefield and leap to advantageous positions on the map. And the starting build for a Prismatic Hunter plays into this, with Winter Shroud providing a debuff that activates Stylish Executioner when triggered by defeating an enemy afflicted by any subclass debuff. This combination provides easy access to invisibility, allowing hunters to then reposition safely as needed. And now, here's a breakdown of the abilities available for Prismatic Hunters in each category. For supers, you have the Marksman variant of Golden Gun, Silence and Squall, Shadow Shot Deadfall, Silk Strike, and the new Arc Super Storm's Edge. For melees, we have Combination Blow, Knife Trick, Withering Blade, Threaded Spike, and Snare Bomb. For grenades, we'll have the Arc Bolt, Swarm, Grapple, Duskfield, and Magnetic Grenades. And for aspects, we have Ascension, Gunpowder Gamble, Winter Shroud, Threaded Spectre, and Stylish Executioner. Now, moving on to the Prismatic Titan. Prismatic Titans will excel at disabling enemies and setting them up for high-impact follow-up attacks. For example, abilities like Dringer's Lash and Chakra Grenade will synergize by priming enemies for subsequent powerful attacks like Consecration, Thunderclap, or even the new Titan Void aspect, Unbreakable. The starting build for Prismatic Titans features Diamond Lance, which can freeze targets and open them up for a fully charged Thunderclap that can be unleashed to swiftly eliminate all threats on the battlefield. The ability suite for Prismatic Titans is as follows. For supers, there's Thunder Crash, Hammer of Soul, Glacial Quake, Twilight Arsenal, which is the new Void Titan super, and Blade Fury. For melees, we have Thunderclap, Frenzied Blade, Hammer Strike, Shield Throw, and Shiver Strike. Grenades, we have Suppressor, Pulse, Thermite, Glacier, and Shackle. And as far as aspects, there's Unbreakable, Knockout, Dringer's Lash, Consecration, and Diamond Lance. And finally, we have the Prismatic Warlock. Warlocks in the lore have always been the most masterful and technical in their wielding of light and dark, therefore it's no surprise that the Prismatic Warlock specializes in summoning an army, including Bleak Watchers, Threadlings, and the new Solar Hellions to overwhelm enemy forces. The starting build for Prismatic Warlocks enables them to control the entire room with abilities such as Bleak Watcher and Penumbral Blast. Also, now with Prismatic, any ability damage, including that caused by shattering frozen targets, activates Feed the Void, granting grenade energy to continue the cycle of summoning and destruction. And the full kit is as follows. For supers, we have Nova Bomb Cataclysm, Storm Trance, Winter's Wrath, Song of Flame, which is the new Solar Warlock super, and Needle Storm. For melees, there's Incinerator Snap, Pocket Singularity, Chain Lightning, Penumbral Blast, and Arcane Needle. For grenades, we have Healing, Vortex, Storm, Cold Snap, and Threadling. And as far as aspects go, we have Feed the Void, Lightning Surge, Bleak Watcher, Hellion, and Weaver's Call. Now, as I explained previously, all movement modes and class abilities will be available on Prismatic Guardians, and as explained above, players will start off in the final shape with a focused initial loadout, but will quickly expand their tool set and possible combinations as they progress through the Traveler's Pale Heart. Additional abilities, aspects, and fragments will be uncovered as mission rewards, unlocked through post-campaign quests, and found as collectibles hidden throughout the world, which brings to mind D2 Vanilla when additional light subclasses at the time were locked behind world quest drops. The goal of this progression system is to provide players with continual opportunities to experiment with new build crafting options and allow them to find creative ways to tackle challenges without the need to earn yet another currency. There will be prismatic chests that can be found in the world as well, or after challenging encounters that'll immediately grant new abilities and combinations for use as well. Every option and potential combination within Prismatic is designed to feel viable across various content and difficulties, finely tuned in order to ensure balance. Additionally, aspects that were previously damage type specific have had their requirements loosened when using Prismatic, allowing for broader activation conditions. For example, Diamond Lance and Feed the Void now activate from ability kills of any kind. Prismatic also introduces Transcendence, or as I like to call it,
that's a whole different super.
Transcendence is a brand new gameplay mechanic designed to truly put a Guardian's mastery of both light and darkness on full display. There will be a new bar below the super energy meter indicating Transcendence light and darkness. Dealing light damage fills the light bar, while dealing darkness damage fills the darkness bar. Kinetic damage fills both bars but at a reduced rate, and when both bars are full and meet in the middle, Transcendence becomes available, instantly recharging your melee and grenade energy, while Transcendent dealing damage with a grenade further increases melee regeneration and vice versa. Also, weapon damage is slightly increased and the player becomes more resistant to incoming damage. Being Transcendent will also allow players to break the shields of special enemies bound by the Witness, making them vulnerable to damage. Now, as if this weren't already wild to begin with, while Transcendent, players will gain access to an all-new grenade unique to each class that deals both light and darkness damage. Hunters will have the Hailfire Spike, a device charged with stasis and solar energy that can attach to surfaces or targets. It then erupts into a slowing storm and after a short duration, ignites into a deadly scorching cyclone. Titans will get the Electrified Snare, an explosive device energized with strand and arc energy, and upon detonation it releases a supercharged suspending burst, dealing heavy damage over time to the suspended target as well as chaining jolting lightning to nearby enemies. And finally, Warlocks will have the Freezing Singularity, a mass of stasis and void energy. On impact, it deploys a miniature black hole orbited by a halo of slowing ice. After a short duration, it implodes, simultaneously suppressing and dealing heavy damage to any nearby targets. Crazy. Now, like all other subclasses, Prismatic will have a full suite of fragments available for players to choose from. In total, players will have access to 21 fragments from day one of the final shape, a significant increase over the typical 14 to 16. The fragments for Prismatic have been designed and tuned to address the challenge of maintaining powerful synergies across multiple elements, while also providing value to the new gameplay loop provided by Transcendence. Most Prismatic aspect fragment slot allotments have been increased to 3, with a few potent options staying at 2. Also, fragments in Prismatic are unlocked for all characters as soon as they are acquired, allowing players to use them across different characters without the need for individual unlocks. Yes! Yes, thank you. Here's a look at some of the fragment options available in Prismatic. For the sake of length, I will only go over fragments that we'll be starting with, but the full article is linked in the video description below for your reference. We have the Facet of Dawn, where powered melee hits against targets will make you radiant, and powered melee final blows make both you and nearby allies radiant. We have the Facet of Hope, where while you have an elemental buff, your class ability regenerates more quickly. We have the Facet of Protection, which while surrounded by enemies, you are more resistant to incoming damage. The Facet of Purpose, where picking up an Orb of Power grants a buff based on the damage type of your currently equipped super. And the Facet of Ruin, which increases the size and damage of the burst when you shatter a stasis crystal or frozen target, and increases the size of solar ignitions. Moving on, there will be new exotic class items introduced in the final shape. These exotic class items are specifically designed to further enhance builds for Prismatic and come with 2 randomly rolled exotic perks. The potential perks are inspired by a selection of other exotic armor pieces from across the classes. For example, a hunter could have an exotic cloak combining the qualities of Assassin's Cowl and Liar's Handshake. Or similarly, warlocks could receive an exotic bond with perks from the Apotheosis Veil and, say, Star Eater Scales, while Titans can get an exotic mark with the elements of Ophidian Aspect and Precious Scars. In my next video, I actually will be covering the exotic class items in more detail, but this is the tease I will leave you with for now. I do want to thank those of you that have made it this far into the video. Thank you for hanging in there with me. I promise we're almost done. We've talked about a lot today, about the new things coming with Prismatic and what it introduces to the game, but I realized while outlining the video that before all of this, Bungie may have actually hinted at this direction as early as the initial reveal of the final shape last August. Now you're probably asking,
What do you mean by that?
well, when the final shape was revealed last August and became available for pre-order, one of the pre-order bonuses was a brand new fusion rifle called Tessellation. Tessellation takes on the damage type of whatever your equipped subclass is and sits in the energy weapon slot of your inventory. This makes it the first weapon ever introduced that allows for a full darkness build, as previously strand and stasis weapons only existed in the kinetic or heavy slots. What does any of this have to do with Prismatic, you may ask? Well, if you look at the design of Tessellation, you will notice that its color palette shares similarities with Transcendence. Coincidence? Perhaps. Maybe I'm reaching just a little bit. And I will say that there's no concrete proof of this theory whatsoever. Still, it made my brain do brain things. And anyway, I'm still getting the feel for Tessellation, as I've only used it to capture gameplay for this video. I will probably do a full video on it once the final shape drops and its catalyst becomes available. Anyways, that just about wraps it up for this deep dive on all things Prismatic. Needless to say, we are in for a wild ride. And do let me know what you're most excited about in the comments. But this is where I leave you. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please do me a solid and give it a thumbs up. Again, it's a little bit, but it does go a long way in terms of helping the channel grow, and I just really appreciate it. And if you want to stay up to date with me and see more content like this, do be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next one. Once again, my name is Lost Angel of Havoc. Thank you for watching Late Tato Clips. We will see you next time, friends. Same late time, same late channel.